everyone, it's Nicole for Simon Says Stamp, and today we're going to be creating a trio of slimline snowflake cards featuring the Simon Says Stamp January 2023 card kit called Snow Love. So for the last several years at least, Simon Says Stamp does a snowflake themed kit for the January card kit of the month, and they are always incredible. I think I make the most amount of cards with this kit. I absolutely love it. So today I thought it would be fun to create some monochromatic cards. Now my goal is always to use mostly products from the kit with a few additional tools and things from my stash. We're going to take some of these beautiful glitter papers from the kit, and they really work best if you peel off the backing and adhere them to cardstock. They're going to die cut a lot better. Trust me on this. I tried the silver, it didn't die cut well, and then I read the directions. So try adhering it to cardstock and you're going to end up with beautiful results. I am going to die cut the dark blue, the teal, the silver, all using the AIDAN snowflake included in the kit. So we're using all the glitter cardstock, the white cardstock, and the glitter cardstock included in the, or the glitter paper, pardon me, included in the kit. I'm also going to trim down the silver matte Simon Says Stamp cardstock. One of my very favorite products from Simon Says Stamp are their gold, silver, did I say silver or gold? It's silver, and rose gold matte cardstock. I think they are amazing. So I am going to just trim this down to make it a little easier to run through my Spellbinders Platinum die cutting machine. And then we are going to take the AIDAN die from the kit. So all of those papers and are from the kit, as well as the AIDAN snowflake. And I am going to die cut from each paper 3 times. That way I can get 3 cards from this one crafting session. I am a huge fan of creating multiple cards whenever possible, and I figured while I had everything out, I might as well. And the great thing is you could really use these cards for any occasion that works or that you need a card for. I love that. Anything kind of wintry themed, I think is incredible. So I did speed this up a little bit to save a little time. You can see I'm running it through my die cutting machine a couple of times. Now, inside the snowflake, the little pieces are going to stick, especially in the glitter paper. So I would say the most time-consuming aspect of this project is taking a piercing tool of some sort and popping them out. They pop right out, but they just stick like many intricate die cuts do. Once I have everything die cut, I have got 3.5 by 8.5 sheets of Nina smooth white cardstock, and I am going to take the Slimline Basics, or Borders, pardon me, stencil from Simon Says Stamp, and I am going to do this grid design. I don't have a Slimline stencil that is a grid, but this has 4 different borders on it, and you can very easily create a repeating pattern. I'm going to use the Make Art magnetic, I don't know, platform, not platform, but it holds your stencil in place. Sorry, you guys. And I am going to take Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink, and we are going to create a background. Now, I'm purposely not going clear to the edge. I kind of like that nice, lighter, fading out to the edge design, but you're going to see me just keep repeating this, lining up that bottom border. It does take a little time, but really not that much, and you're left with a beautiful background. I'm a big fan of monochromatic designs. I do it a lot. It just, to my eye, works really well. So we're doing a lot of layering. We did all of our die cutting first, but for our finished card, it's going to be a stenciled background with stamping on top, then splatter, then snowflakes, and finally embellishment and sentiments. Lots and lots of layering, but lots and lots of monochromatic. So the Uncharted Mariner is definitely the basis of this design today. I chose to use the Oxide. The regular Distress would be just as beautiful. And once I have completely stenciled my backgrounds, and I will go ahead and do all three, I am going to stamp my backgrounds with snowflakes from the Snow Love stamp set included in the kit and also available for individual purchase. It has beautiful snowflakes in it, and I wanted to reinforce the frosty, cool theme of the card and of the die-cut snowflakes with some additional stamped snowflakes. I'm going to have to break it into a couple of passes or stamping. Most of my snowflakes can be stamped, but I do want one to come off of that left side of the card. And you'll see that here in a minute. Now, to gauge exactly where I want my snowflakes to go, I am laying my die-cut snowflakes right here on my background just to kind of give me an idea. I think I don't even end up putting them exactly there, but that's okay. And I'm going to lay my stamps down. This is going to give you a good idea, at least, of where some of those openings are going to be and where you'll really benefit from some additional stamping. I think I stamped about 5 snowflakes on the background. We're going to do 4 here all at once, and I will stamp all 3 of my backgrounds using, again, the Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink. The 5th snowflake we will stamp last, so I'm going to move him over to the side, and then I will move my paper and we will stamp him. I definitely added in some little guys as well, since our AIDAN snowflake is a pretty big size. I think it's going to be super, super pretty, and it's going to give us those icy, snowy vibes that I'm looking for. I'm going to carefully move all of my die cuts out of the way. I'm actually going to close my MISTI cover and pick all of these stamps up, and then I'll remove those remaining snowflakes. We're going to ink up the snowflakes with the Uncharted Mariner ink and stamp them. And the benefit of the MISTI, of course, is if you don't get a super crisp impression the first time, you can always stamp it again. So there were a couple of areas I wanted to stamp again, and then I'm just going to switch this out for my other 2 backgrounds. Now, after I have done or stamped all of the backgrounds, I am going to grab my splatter box. I use a plastic storage box that I've had forever. It's kind of shallow. I've talked about it a lot. It's just fantastic because you can rinse it out and reuse it, and it doesn't get all icky. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to grab the Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink. Oh, and I did stamp that last snowflake off of the edge. I completely forgot. With the splatter box, then we're going to place our backgrounds inside and splatter them with the Distress Oxide ink. Now it goes on really dark, and it's going to be almost a little, it kind of makes our snowflakes a little bit not as prominent, but that's okay. That's what I'm looking for. And as it dries, it will soften, but I love it because it just provides that snowy, icy, distressed feel that I was looking for with these cards. Now, I do want to mention, you could do this with any color that you like. I think it would be beautiful in all kinds of different colors, or even in shades of, let's say, black and white. If you want to do black, white, and silver, wouldn't that be fun for maybe New Year's style cards? And add in some gold even. I don't know. I just think there's a lot of really fun ways you could do this. You could do a whole rainbow, you know, do each card in a different color. I'm a big fan of that as well, but this could easily be done with your favorite ink colors. Next, I am piercing out the insides of my snowflakes. I mentioned it earlier, but they do tend to stick a little bit, and I'm going to glue down the snowflakes on my background. I did a couple of them already just to save time in the video, but I wanted to show kind of the process of poking out all the inside pieces, adding some liquid glue on the back, and then simply placing it on the card and putting something heavy on top to hold it flat. I kind of did a blue, silver for this background. And I did have to vacuum my floor when I was done. So I'm just gonna continue this. I'm gonna speed it up a little bit, and then we'll start adding all of the fun embellishments and greetings. I tilted every other snowflake so that they weren't all like straight up and down. I kind of thought that added a little additional interest. Plus it allows you to put them a little closer to each other so that the tips of the snowflakes aren't touching. For the center of this silver glitter snowflake, I added some of the glossy accents included in the kit. I'm going to tie some white string through one of the Tim Holtz snowflake adornments, and I'm going to tie it in a little bow and secure the center of the bow with glossy accents as well. I did end up trimming down my backgrounds prior to adding anything dimensional with paper trimmer, so they each measure 3 1/4 by 8 1/4, leaving us with a white border all the way around, which I think helps frame up the design beautifully. So a little bit of the edge got trimmed off. I did snip off the edges of my snowflakes that overhang the backgrounds. And there I'm just tying that in. I actually secured the snowflake to the center of the die cut snowflake with glossy accents, let the glossy accents completely dry, and then I tied it into a bow so I didn't have to worry about the snowflake charm moving around. I'm going to just trim up those ends and then add glossy accents to the center to secure the bow so it doesn't come undone. I love these little snowflake adornments that you get in the kit. I think they're just the perfect little finishing touch for the center of some of the snowflakes. So pretty. And a great little embellishment. Now not included, pardon me, from my stash, I am going to grab some Trinity Stamps silver satin baubles. So some little pearl gemstones. You could use anything that you have, maybe sequins or other little gems and pearls, whatever. I'm going to use those to embellish the rest of the design. Definitely taking the color choice from the specialty papers and that adornment charm, so I don't want to pull in a different color. And I love the satiny matte finish of these, and we're simply going to put a little dab of glue in the center of our remaining snowflakes, plus add a few additional little drops all the way around the design, and pop in all of these little things with our embellishment wand. I love the little added touch of embellishment here. We're going to do this for all 3 cards. The Simon Says Stamp triangle trays are perfect for containing your pearls and gems while you're working and allowing you to easily be able to pick up the size that you want and add it to your project. On a couple of sheets of smooth white cardstock, I'm going to take some greetings from both the Tiny Words birthday stamp set from Simon Says Stamp and also the Snow Love stamp set included in the January kit. And I'm first going to stamp my small phrase with Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink on cardstock. I'm just moving my paper, not the stamp, in my MISTI and stamping this 3 times. I'm going to do the same thing with the Sending So Much Love sentiment, and we are going to stamp that with clear embossing ink and heat emboss with silver embossing powder from Simon Says Stamp. I love a 2-tone sentiment. Now, I accidentally stamped 2 of the greetings too close together, but I'm just going to roll with it. I decided I didn't want to stamp and emboss each individually. I want to stamp all of them and then emboss all of them at one time. So I'm moving this around, but I did accidentally, as I said, get 2 of them too close together, but that's a pretty easy fix. I didn't even have to start over. Once I'm done, I am going to die cut all of these with my favorite Simon Says Stamp sentiment labels dies. This is going to give you perfectly die cut sentiment strips. You can also use your paper trimmer and get fantastic results. I decided to do the larger sentiment in the silver embossing, as it's a little bit bigger and bolder, and I really wanted that to stand out and draw on the silver accents in my card. The smaller sentiment I did in blue to pull with the blue. And I like that the two-tone really adds additional interest to this design. Now there was a little bit of embossing powder flakes where I didn't want them, so I took a dry paintbrush and I'm just going to wipe those away. It's kind of a smallish paintbrush, that way I can kind of get in between and wipe away those embossing powder flakes that aren't where I want them. When embossing, it's important to make sure that your heat tool is really good and warm before you take it to the paper to reduce warping. I also like to not only warm up the front of the paper, but the back as well. Next, we're going to take those sentiment label dies and run them through the die cutting machine. In order to get both ends cut, I always line it up with one side, run it through the machine, and then I take the strip, line it up with the other side, and just roll it through enough to trim that other end. It's a little bit more time consuming, but I love the look of the finished sentiment strip. I'm going to do this for both sizes. I'm using the smallest and the third smallest sentiment labels dies from this collection. Then I'm going to take foam adhesive and we are going to attach our sentiment strips to our card. For the larger sentiment, I am using the Simon Says stamp foam adhesive that I absolutely love. The backing paper peels off so easily and it works really, really great. So I'm just going to snip that, remove the backing paper, and we're going to adhere it right here in the lower right corner of the card design. Look how pretty that is and how it pulls out the rest of the silver accents and snowflakes in the card. We're going to add the rest of the greeting up above, and it really could be anything. It doesn't have to be birthday, and we are left with 3 beautiful slimline snowflake themed cards, perfect for winter occasions and the season. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these 3 cards featuring the January 2023 card kit. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video for your convenience. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.